morning, good afternoon, depending where you're viewing us from all over the world. Welcome to Opinion TV UG. This is our weekly podcast, and we are talking about the war in Gaza, Israel and Palestine conflict, and all the events that have been taking place all over this week. So, welcome, Mr. Opinion.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm fair, but as if I'm hearing the way you're sounding funny. Your sound is not all that good. It is sounding a bit funny.
Really? What's causing that? Is it like an echo?
No, it's not an echo. It is just sounding a bit weird. It's not clear. That's what I can say. But
No.
all good, all good, all good.
Okay.
Um, we are going to be actually making this podcast we're going to be doing this podcast. We do this podcast. Go watch our previous videos. We base on trending issues, mostly political, geopolitical, and we do it every Sunday from 12 o'clock Ugandan time. That's 1 o'clock Middle Eastern time. And we shall be having different kinds of people here coming to talk about this. And Wednesday, we also do it on Wednesday. I think that is from what time?
From 8 a.m.
Yeah, from
Uganda.
8 to 9.
Uh, so today we are going to look at different aspects and events that have been taking place regarding the Gaza war. Especially this week, we had the South African uh, lawmakers and people who are charging Israel that genocidal action is taking place in Gaza right now. We
Actually,
should,
actually, this week has actually been very, 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 very interesting.
mm,
There's a lot of things that have been happening in this week, like you've seen the court, South Africa dragged Israel to court, to the ICJ, to the International Criminal Court of Justice. We have seen, we saw the U.S. Carried out airstrikes in Yemen, inside Yemen actually. That was the U.S. and
from
the
the
U.S.
UK.
and of course, they had a coalition, and the only Islamic country that was involved was Bahrain. Um, we have seen the Prime Minister Sonok also talking of giving more billions to Ukraine. Dang, this week is all full of. Today, I was actually talking on my TikTok. I came across this law of that the U.S. made, the U.S.
Mm,
House of Representatives passed that says that anti-Zionism is a form of anti-Semitism. If
mm,
all opposition of the anti-Zionism movement in the Jewish state of Israel is a form of anti-Semitism, which is actually also not true because the two are actually also different. There is a lot of crap that is going on right now. A lot, a
yeah.
lot, a lot, a lot, a lot.
And
We saw
also
uh,
we should
we
remember
saw
that we are marking 100 days of the war already in Gaza. We marked
uh,
100 days, and
it's
there is a lot.
100 genocide.
Mm.
These people are not fighting back, and these people are
So
not killing Hamas like they should be killing Hamas. So they're just killing innocent women and children and
being killed.
old and everybody.
Mm. So it's really, really a tough week. Uh, But I would like you to highlight us on the court and according to the resolution, and because we know the ICJ does not have like enforcement. They can decide, but they can't enforce. So what do you take of that? Eh? The
The
provisional
fact,
measures that have been established in the court, will they be effective or not?
let's not first get there first.
Mm.
The fact that South Africa, of
Mm.
all countries in the world, is the only country that grew a pair to take the Israeli Zionist regime to the International Court of Justice for a case of genocide.
Mm.
That one alone is history. We have to remember that South Africa is one of the countries that suffered apartheid.
True.
They- like they have been quoting this saying that Mandela said that South Africa will never be truly free unless Kenyans are also free.
Free.
There is a portrait, a statue of Mandela, I think, in the West Bank, in Palestine, in the West Bank. It's there. They were yesterday. They have been celebrating it the whole of this week. But this,
Mm.
I think you've seen that there are not very many. Most of the countries that are actually supporting South Africa, African countries, there are not many. They are not European. There are not many European countries. There are not many Islamic countries. Uh, Basically, I think that South Africa even didn't want any Islamic countries to get involved in the very first place because they had a lot of time to end this war. They had a lot of leverage to end this war. Do you know? We already spoke about this, I think, in the previous video. Do you know how strong these Arab nations are if they can just agree on one thing and say, we don't want this war, full stop. We just use the little leverage they have. Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Iran, Morocco, all these countries, if they just come together and say, we don't want this war full stop, it cannot happen. There's no way they can do it. They can do this. But the fact that
Mm.
a state of South Africa that suffered apartheid is the one doing this, it actually makes history. It's a lot. Whether whatever comes out of this ruling is whether the judges rule that Israel is committing genocide or not, it does not at this time. Okay, if they rule that Israel is committing genocide, it will mean a lot of things. We shall get there. But if they rule that Israel is not committing genocide, after all the evidence that has been presented in the court, as you saw, because
Mm.
they do not have to the South Africans, the evidence they have to present does not have to show that Israel is committing genocide. No, they just have to create motive, to show motive that Israel has intent or a motive to create genocide. That's why you see they were playing all those speeches made by their prime minister, made by the high-ranking officers in the military, showing how the
Mm.
military were also responding to them. And when we saw the Israeli side make their presentation, they kept saying that they kept crying foul, like Hamas attacked us, so we have the right to defend ourselves. We have the right to. No one does actually, according to the international court,
Mm.
according to international law, I've been telling that Israel does not have the right
To
to
defend
defend
themselves.
themselves because
Mm.
they are the occupier. You can't occupy. If a thief comes to your house to steal, the person they
Mm.
are stealing from you, they have the right to defend yourself. And if this, there is no way you're going to hit this guy and he's going to go to police and say, I went to steal this guy's face, then he hit me in the face. It cannot work like that. It's the same thing here. The occupier cannot
Mm.
claim self-defense. It is the occupied. And what makes this law even more worse, it gives the people that are occupied, being the Palestinians, to use any means necessary, whatever. If you have a panga, use a panga. If you have an axe, use whatever you have to get rid of your what? To defend yourself from the occupier. So this narrative that they have put on the news, Israel has a right to defend itself. Israel does not have a right to defend itself from, since it is the occupying power according to international law. So these people were playing a lot of Hamas. They played that, you see, these are the people from Kibbutz. They killed these people. Hamas did this. Hamas did this. And Hamas, according to the genocide law, this genocide court, Hamas does not future anywhere in this case because it's not a political party. It's not an organization. It's not an entity. It's not a government. You understand? According to this law, genocidal law, according to this court, Hamas cannot be brought to this court to be judged. That's why everything the side of Israel had to say about Hamas is not applicable in this court. Yes, it did everything it did, but Hamas is not the one which is being judged. It is Israel. So your defense has to be that we are not committing genocide. Don't say that, you see, these people came and killed our people. That does not give you the right to go and commit genocide or to go and sweep out the whole millions of people, to kill thousands of people. You know, you do not come to this court and say that Hamas did this, that's why I'm committing genocide. Because the case is, why are you committing genocide or not? So your defense has to be, surely I'm not committing genocide. Not that these people killed our people, so we have the right to commit genocide. No, don't tell us of what these people did. These people are not the ones being judged. It is you. Are you committing genocide or no? That's what this court has to judge. That's why you see the South Africans did not go into a lot of there's a lot of evidence, but they did not go into a lot of things like to speculate. They were just giving evidence that is straight to their point, rather than the other side of the Israelis. Yes, the Israelis are also trying to fight, but it's hard when the evidence is just there that you're doing what you're saying you're not doing. It is hard, it's complicated to make that argument. So, if this court rules that Israel is not committing a genocide, it will show how broken the international community systems, these all international organizations are. It will just continue to confirm. We have seen the United Nations Security Council can't do shit without the US. We have seen the World Food Program or the World Food or the United Nations Food Work, refusing to give food to the Yemen just because the Americans told them don't do that. We have seen every organization that could have stopped Israel from doing this fail because the America and its allies don't allow it to do so. Now, if it rules that Israel is committing genocide, that means they have to stop to leave Gaza. Now, will Israel adhere to the court's ruling? Of course, I don't expect it to do that. But what will happen is that the allies, all these people that have been, if Israel has been getting 100% aid from these people, they will have to scale back. They will scale back to 10%, to 1%, and to later to 0%. Why am I saying this? There is already a group of again South African lawyers, people who have again joined with South African lawyers, just in case, if they rule that Israel is committing genocide, for them, they have already planned to take, they already applied to take the United States government, the Biden administration, to the International Criminal Court for aiding and facilitating a genocide. Now, that is also another point. That means people have started pointing fingers at you, which means that everybody is watching this, which means that all these allies that have been giving the UK all of them will face the same fate. Because if the ICJ says that Israel yes committed genocide, then they take the US, then they are people who facilitated it. Because now when you take them to the International Criminal Court, it's no longer a question of whether they committed genocide. The genocide was committed and you help people to commit it. So it's like a smooth, a smooth, let me say, case for these people to argue against the United States and whichever countries they would have involved to take to the
Yeah.
International Criminal Court.
Actually, that is
Because
automatically. It
yeah, these people
automatically
have ruled.
and the UK are implicated automatically with that kind of ruling.
Yeah, if
Mm.
that kind of ruling comes out that it doesn't matter whether Israel will stop fighting World War, but that's what I'm trying to say, that all these countries that are helping Israel will scale back because now every law firm, every what will be coming for them. Everybody will be coming for them. Say you helped commit the genocide, so they will be taking them to these courts. And while they are taking, I think you have seen this audio of Netanyahu, which he made in English. Not normally he makes his speeches in Hebrew. Before the court starts, he made the audio saying they are not committing genocide. They are trying to, the Israeli army, the IDF is trying to make sure that there is a limit on the deaths of civilians.
Your network is not clear. I don't know what is happening. You're breaking. You're on and off.
I don't know what's happening.
I can hear you.
Anyway, I'll move on to the.
Mm. I can get you now. I was hearing you. You're back.
All right. So I think that is it. If you wanted that message to go through to like be confused for okay, he's doing it, he had to make it. He had to provide this message in Hebrew, as the way he has been like doing the messages and giving a translate, but he made it in English. For what? For the international community, not for the Israeli people.
Yeah, we say that, and because also we are looking at because since the ICJ does not have like enforcement, however, even after the ruling, we are saying that maybe they are back. Like, what could they are like they have to lean on the Security Council, and we've seen that the US always vetoes that. So we find that since they have no enforcement, so all these provisional measures that may be coming up from the ICJ, still Israel insists they have to keep fighting in Gaza until they get rid of Hamas. So what can be done in that case by these other countries?
When Israel is declared by the ICJ that it is committing genocide,
Mm.
it is getting isolated now, but it will be more isolated. That's what I was trying to say. That all these countries that have been giving it 100% aid, the aid will go to 20%, 10%, and later to 0%. Whereby Israel cannot survive without the aid. Israel is not Superman. Israel is a small nation that survives by the aid given to it by the United States and its allies. All the money the
mm,
Israelis spend, it's not from the Israeli taxpayers. No, it is from the US budget, the UK budget, and money they pull from here and there. You understand? So if this
mm,
money is not there, there is no Israel. Now, when Israel is declared, when it is declared that Israel is committing genocide, it's not just
mm,
going to end there. They will, the court will order Israel a Palestinian state.
mm,
That is after saying that Israel is trying to eliminate a particular group of people or ethnic group of people. The next talk is we need these ethnic people to exist. So where are they going to exist? Of course, they must exist in Palestine because that is where they belong, right?
yes,
So that is the next stop. They've, every other country will start pointing fingers and say, Israel, you need to get out of here. You need to get out. Things have gotten out of hand. Israel is not the Israel that people used to know today. It has been exposed how the amateur, how their military is so full of amateurs. I shared a video yesterday on my TikTok page of an Israeli girl that is actually in the IDF. She was talking about how right now, today as we speak, the whole of
mm,
Israel is rioting. They want Netanyahu out. All this
yeah,
fighting that Netanyahu is doing, Netanyahu is what, him going to assassinating people in the leader of Hamas in the middle of Beirut, all this trying to escalate to make sure that Hezbollah joins the war in full force so that it can be again war and war and war. He pulls in the Americans and what to come and help him fight. It's not for the interest of the Israelis. No, he doesn't give a shit about these Israeli people. It is for him to
mm,
prolong the war so that he can stay in power, so that they can cut him some kind of deal and tell him, sit down, we're not going to prosecute you for any crime, we're not going to prosecute you for your corruption, we're not going to prosecute. This girl was saying that Netanyahu loves money so much, and this war is bringing money. You understand? And there is a point that she said the IDF is full of. She said, you see, for us, we are all like 19, 20. You understand? We don't
yes,
want to do these things. We are getting orders from there, and we are in the army. So you must do what I'm telling you to do. You get like there are people like that in that they have no choice. They are in the military. They have deployed you in that, what things like that.
mm. You just have to take
She was
orders. What
very,
you do is what you do. You don't have to ask questions,
yeah,
so
she was,
you have no choice. Mm,
she was very clear saying that them themselves, they don't like Netanyahu. They don't like these people.
mm,
The people in Israel don't like their government because it is not doing anything that benefits the people. And when you look at it, it is true indeed. Because you're fighting in Gaza, Hamas, that you failed actually to eliminate. Now they're opening up another front with Hezbollah. You're opening up another front with the Yemeni, with the people from Yemen. Yeah. What are you doing? You want missiles to fall on you from every kind of angle, from every direction. Is that in benefit of the people of Israel, or is that just for your own good? So Netanyahu is no longer fighting for anybody. He's just fighting until they can cut him a deal and they tell him,
mm,
man, just go home and sleep. Because his career, he knows his career is already over. The Israeli people
mm,
don't want anything to do with him because he has failed. He failed in the security. He has failed to get the hostages. He has failed to kill Hamas. He has failed to. He has made them look so bad. on the international in the on the international scene. He has
mm,
exposed in every kind of way that it has Israel has never been so wrong like it is today. It has never been on the wrong side of history like it is today. Israel
mm.
has done a lot of evil things to the Palestinians, but it had never been like people had never been able to see these people for who they are. And Netanyahu made that possible. So that's why they don't like him. People don't
Finally,
have,
he's exposed.
yeah, they don't have a problem with the Jews. They don't have a problem with the Israelis. They don't have a problem. The problem is Zionism. That's why I started with that law of the US that they made. US is making laws to protect the people in Israel against the Americans. Can you?
Mm.
So they are not in America. They are okay. They are Jews in America, but they are Americans. But why would you care so much about the Israelis than your own people? Already, you're giving them billions of the American people's money, taxpayers' money. Now you're imposing again laws that they do not have to talk about them. If you talk about them, that means you don't like them. You are anti-Semitic. Being being a Zionist, being anti-Zionist, being an anti-Zionist is you need to first understand what is Zionism. Zionism is like a political movement. It is like a political movement. It is like a club. It's like an agency. It's like let me say it's like a political party which happens to be in power in the Jewish state of Israel today. You understand? Now,
Mm.
anti-Semitism is being hostile or being it is being hostile towards Jews. In simple terms, it's like I don't like Jews.
Mm.
Period. That is being anti-Semite. That is being anti-Semite. You don't like Jews. It's not the same thing as saying I don't like that political party or I don't like this political movement. You cannot say that. You cannot say that you do not like the. You cannot say that because you do that because you do not like. Let me give you an example. You can't say that because you do not like NRM, so you don't like all the Ugandans. It cannot be like that.
Okay.
You just don't
Mm.
like NRM. You just don't like the political party. Period. So that
Mm.
now this law America made for the Americans is telling them that if you do not like the political movement, the Zionist political movement in Jewish Israel, the Jewish state of Israel, it means that you don't like all the Jews. Can you imagine the level of dictatorship dressed up in a democracy suit that sits in American Congress or in American, I don't know, House of Representatives that pass these laws? How can you say that? Saying that I do not like, that you do not like over NRA, over NUP is the same thing as saying I don't like the whole of Uganda. That's what they are telling them. If you don't like, if you do, meaning they are trying to tell them don't talk about Israel. Don't talk
Mm.
about Israel. Don't say anything about Israel. Because
Yeah, that's the one who's silencing them. Like, you don't have to say anything about Israel. In case you
exactly,
say anything about Zionism, so you're saying you're against Israel as a whole, which is not true.
exactly. Because the
Mm.
Zionists in Israel are the criminals. So if you talk about the criminals, that means
Mm.
you are against every kind,
You're against the Israel.
even the Jews in America, even the Jews in Europe. That means you are against all of them. You understand? That's what they are telling the America. That is what their lawmakers are telling them. They think they are stupid or what?
That is very wrong.
It's wrong.
You
It
can't
doesn't add
justify.
up.
Mm. But we understand you're trying to quench any kind of criticism from anyone or like these protests, because we've seen even Israel themselves, they're trying to suppress the people who are trying to come to protest on the streets against the war in Gaza. People are getting arrested, they're getting kidnapped, you know.
Do you know the protests in Israel that have been happening since this war
Mm.
began do not show anywhere outside of Israel media? It is once in a while that a clip flips them and come gets out this side and we get to watch it. How many
Mm.
have you seen on social media showing that Israelis are protesting and they want Benjamin Netanyahu out? It was when the
Rare.
war began, just when the war began there. But then after that, they cut all of that off. They cut it off because people were saying things that they do not want us who are outside of Israel to hear. They are saying things like, we don't want Netanyahu, he has done this, he's the one, he's the big These are the things people are saying in the protest. They are saying they do not want Netanyahu, he's the biggest of the Israeli problems, he's the one causing all this fighting. He's interested in fighting because it involves a lot of money. There is like the Israelis are saying all kinds of bad things to Netanyahu, which is not the case when you go to Gaza. It's not the case of the Palestinians saying bad things about the Hamas. If today a
Mm.
vote was to be held in Palestine or in Gaza or in the whole of Palestine, let me say, to vote for, you know that Hamas is not the recognized political wing of Palestine. You know that, right? They have some
Yes.
kind of puppet government that Israel put there.
Mm. The one
So,
which sits in the West Bank.
which nobody knows about. So, if they were to put a vote and to say that let vote Hamas or this government, this Hamas would win 100% because it is the only thing that has ever stood up to the Israelis and said no, there must be an Israeli state. Saudi Arabia had sold them out. All these Arab countries had sold them out. That's why they're not saying anything. That's why South Africa told them, shut up, do not advise us, do not tell us, do not speak to us, just keep quiet. If you want to put your name also to be here for history that you are among the people who supported us, we are cool with it, but just don't open your mouth to say anything.
Mm.
Yeah, just keep quiet, stay in the back.
I understand. Uh, anyway, let's see how this goes and the court, the rulings. Otherwise, there is a long way to go for the Palestine to achieve their freedom and their having a two-state solution. It's a really long way to go. Let's just hope for the best.
It's a long way for sure. And me personally, I don't believe in a two-state solution. I've been telling you this. You cannot tell
Mm.
me the reason why they are fighting is because of the. Actually, even the people in Israel don't believe the lay person in Israel also does not believe in a two-state solution. The reason as why they are fighting is because of the two states. This gap they have created between them and the other people. The difference that they are
Mm.
trying to say that these people are more different from you. That is why they keep fighting each other. But the moment they say, let us go back to our old ways, before the Zionists came, we were living together here. The Christians, the Jews, and the Arabs and the Muslims were all living here. So let us go back to our old ways. Everybody should have equal rights. Everybody should do what they want to do, do whatever you want. If you're Jew, if you're not, if you're what, just do whatever you want. Let us all stay in this same land as it was all given to us. Let us all stay. The Palestinians are not interested in chasing out the Jews that are in Israel. They are not. They just want equal rights. They don't want this nonsense that this is for Israel, this is for Palestinians. No. If they can put a single state, these people have to go to same schools, they have to face same teachers, they have to go to the same military, they have to go to same everything. use same roads, use same everything. They will have to learn how to live with each other. You cannot teach people how to live with each other when you know they already don't like each other and again you are separating them. That means you're leaving someone to grow without understanding that there are people, Israeli people, who care about you, who feel what you feel, and you're also leaving the some of these Israeli people who, without knowing that they are Palestinians, who know that all this bombing, all this has nothing to do with the day-to-day Israeli people. It is just about a greedy government, a greedy, there is a few number of people. But if they put them all together, they're gonna learn. They have to learn about each other. They have to
mm,
learn how to live with each other. They will have to use the same toilet. They go to the same school. They have to use the same road. If someone makes a mistake, the law is the same for everybody. The punishment is the same for everybody. They will live together. If you don't want to live together, you get out because most of the Jews there don't belong there. Yeah, you're going to see there are people that call, when you convert to Judaism, Judaism is a religion. When you
mm.
convert to go to Israel and claim citizenship there, do you know that or you don't?
No, I didn't.
Then you will become an Israeli. 90, let me say, 95, 80% of the Jews that are in Israel making noise do not belong there. They are from Morocco, they are from Russia, they are from Europe, they are from where? They have just converted and gone there and pointed at a Palestinian's home and they have gotten that they have given them that home and pointed that I want to build this is a good area, I want to build my house here, and they have given them that house. And they expect that the Palestinians are just supposed to be happy like that. No, so they should make one state with equal rules. So that is the meaning of from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. No Israel, no Palestine, no Israel, no Israeli, no Palestine. All of them in one place. Same rule, same everything. If you don't like that, just get out, go back to where you came from. Israel is 75 years old as a state. You understand? So if you're
Mm.
not 75 years old, or if you do not have a grandfather who's buried in Israel, who is more than 75 years old, where the hell did you come from? Where did you come from? If one of your grandparents is not buried there, where did you come from? You came from somewhere. That means when they ask you, what is your ethnicity? There's a difference between ethnicity and nationality. When they
True.
ask you what
You can be an Israelite by nationalism, but you're not like ethnically to be an Israelite. Also, like,
yes,
or
you
you're
are
an
in
Arab.
Russia. Yeah, you are in
You are an Arab,
Russia.
but you
You are from Morocco. You are from Libya.
yeah.
You are from Ethiopia. You are from France. You're from where? You
Mm.
understand? You will find that people who are above, who are who are below. Let me say what? Maybe these people came with kids. Let me say that people who are below, okay, or people who are below 75, who are below 70, or who are below, maybe they came with 5 years old. Okay, let me say people who are below 5, who are below 70, and the
Mm.
others who can claim that their ethnicity is Israel or is Palestine, they were born there. There's no way they can. People who were born there, that's who can claim there.
Yeah,
Because they
those
have
who
no
are
nationality.
75 and below.
Yeah, they are born there. But you're
Mm.
not going to tell me that your parents or your grandparents came from Australia, came from Germany, then when you ask a Palestinian that where did you come from? He says, I came from Palestine. Now which one weighs more? Your parents came from Russia, came from where? Ukraine, from where? Then this one ask him, where did your grandparents come from? Palestine, Rafah. Which one weighs more? My parents are buried here, yours are buried somewhere in Europe.
Mm. Of
So
course, the
that means
Palestinians are the natives. And actually, before there was only Palestine, there was no like Israel. It was only Palestine, that land, the
that's why
Palestinian state.
that's
Mm.
why they have no argument. That's why they tell you that Israel as a state was created in 1948. Okay.
Mm.
Now before 1948, what was there?
It was
Palestine.
Palestine.
What happened? They will tell you the British gave us the land, gave us half of the land.
Mm.
You should. I will send you my TikTok. I will send you. I will send you my TikTok that I use for this geopolitics, so that you need to go and watch this girl, and you see for her the way she said. She said that when we are coming here, when we are coming from Europe, we came. People came first. We came. Then they came very many people. Then they occupied
Mm.
most of the land. You understand? Then after occupying most of the land, again they started fighting with these people who they fought there. Now
Mm.
they occupied a lot of land and they again started fighting for more land. So it is about land, 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 land. At the end of the day, these people say, why don't we see? If you look at the map of Israel from before 19, like, okay, let's say from 1948 to what, you're going to see how they have been expanding, 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 almost eliminating Palestine
Mm.
from it, swallowing it. But they were almost successful. But now everyone is saying we need the Palestinians to have a place, and we are not going to push them in some other weird place. They don't understand this is their inheritance, like they are supposed to be here. So you have to give them some place that they can call home, that a Palestinian in America can call home. Just like you are trying to collect all the Jews and bring them here, also then they need to collect all their people who have been in exile since the Nakba, since what, and bring them here. They can say, I'm going to Palestine freely without saying that you need to go through Israel. Why don't we end this here?
Yeah. I think that is it for this week. Let's see next week on Wednesday. We meet again at around 8 a.m. and next Sunday around 1 p.m. That's Ugandan time.
I don't know what kind of again events will have happened, because even we have not even spoken about the impact of the
Mm.
US and the UK, the audacity of
Attacking.
going and bombing into Yemen, because the
Mm.
Yemen just want you to stop the war in Gaza, provide humanitarian aid to the people in need, the people who are being killed, to stop the killing. For you decide that no, we are not going to solve the issue of the humanitarian aid. We are just going to create another humanitarian crisis. There is that these people are protesting in the Red Sea that you solve a crisis, a humanitarian crisis. You said no, we are not going to solve
Another
that. We're
crisis.
just going to create another. We're
But
just
that's
going to create
America. That's
another.
America. That is Israel. They think crisis and destruction and warmongering is the way to go. Like that's their solution. They can't say we can diplomatically sit and eliminate this kind of issue, but they want to come and fight and eliminate, which does
But
not work. It didn't work in Iraq. It did not work in Afghanistan. Why would it work in Yemen?
these guys. Like America. They used to be the good guys. Like when someone would talk about America, like they're the ones going to come and save the day.
Mm.
Now, let me tell you, people, if you have any political leader or political opposition leader that is looking to change a government and is making these unnecessary trips to Europe to talk to these officials, there is nothing good that he's doing there apart from selling your country. If the dictator in power is giving gold and fuel, let's start just talking between me and you. Do you think
Mm.
that
Mm.
the Americans, let me say, give an example. Do you think the Americans will want him to leave power if he's giving them oil and gold for free? No.
Of course.
Then if you want him to leave power, that means you have to give more. You have to offer more. What are you offering?
Mm,
So when you see your political opposition leader making these trips to the White House, to the what, there's nothing they are doing there apart from selling you more. They are, whatever this guy is giving, they will have to give more, double the price. The only thing
mm,
that can bring a dictator out of power is by exposing him. The way you see Hamas expose Israel to the extent that the whole world now is against Israel. Everyone wants to distance them. That is when these powerful countries like the way you see the US, the world supporting all these dictators, they will distance themselves. When they distance themselves, that means the dictator is left naked.
mm.
Is left
He has no
at
support anymore.
you can
Mm,
you can manage him because also he's careful. He's now trying. He's also starting to fear. Let's, let's leave these things. Let's we shall talk about. We shall get to that when we come to Congo and Sudan and
mm.
what.
Okay, viewers, thanks for viewing and thanks for keep a like, put a comment. We shall be with you next week. We sign out.
Inshallah.